You are watching the number one podcast in the whole entire wrestling community, and I'm one of your hosts, Juanzo.
And I'm your other host, Jean-Paul Leck.
Together we are
Robreak.
How's every single one of you today? We hope that all of you are having a great Memorial Day, weekend. We hope that you guys enjoying with your families, cookouts, picnics, whatever you guys have. Bring leftovers. We're gonna be, talking about AEW Double or Nothing. We're gonna go in after the pay-per-view was over, but it was 5 hours of professional wrestling. It was a lot to digest, so we decided to just go, a little later in the day, just so we could be fresher and just talk about this show. What did you overall your thoughts, Jean-Paul?
Overall, this is really hard to say. I saw a lot of people saying, "Oh, this was the best pay-per-view of the year," but you always see a lot of the marks and people who and I don't even want to say marks in like a negative connotation, but the fans who get the fans who get really excited because AEW doesn't do a pay-per-view every month like WWE. So when they have a pay-per-view, they get excited. Some people said, "Oh, this was the best show of the year." I don't think any pay-per-view is going to beat it this year or anything like that. But I'm not going to go that far, and I'm not going to go to say that this was awful. There was some good stuff in here. There was some bad stuff. I enjoyed all the matches that I said I was looking forward to, and the matches that I said I'm not really looking forward to, they didn't surprise me. They still disappointed me in the exact same way.
They gave you a reason why you have to feel disappointed. So
yeah,
we're going to be talking about everything, and thank you to Anthony Blackwell Jr. Thank you so very much. He is from the Tornado Podcast. Remember, we met him at the last Outbreak show. So, thank you so very much for being with us. We appreciate the support, and we will be with you probably, in the month of July. So we're gonna be most likely in the Legends of Hamburg. So we're gonna be, talking about with them, with all of you guys. So thank you. Don't forget, family, to subscribe. For the ones that are watching on YouTube and Facebook, subscribe on both. Follow us on Facebook, subscribe on YouTube. We want to keep the channel growing and providing the best information for every single one of you. Anthony said we got to link up soon. We will.
Yes,
so, thank you so much, man. Legends of Hamburg, Road Break, Tornado Podcast. We have a date right there. So, Paul, let's start with the buy-in. Actually, the buy-in turned out to be one of the best matches. I enjoyed this a lot. I hope you did, because Serena Dev and Riho, they do have really great chemistry. So tell me a little bit about all of this situation, because they had a match beforehand. Remember, for the qualifiers to the number one contender for Hikaru Shida's AEW Women's Championship. They have another match and another good opportunity where they can showcase their abilities.
Yeah, I really like this match. And, now we see Serena. I don't know what the storyline is on NWA or anything, but we see she, it was a match for the women's title. And she also kind of has a new demeanor. She was wrestling heel, definitely heel tactics, that cocky heel attitude in this match. So Riho was the clear babyface in the match before. It was babyface. But this was really good. Serena just dominated, using the submissions, wearing down the legs. Because what does Riho do? The double foot stomp. That's one of her main arsenal and her moveset. So
Balor won a vision, Paul.
Exactly. So she was doing the dragon screw leg whips, just submissions, wearing the legs down, everything. And this was a good match because Serena Deeb is such a great wrestler, and she kind of tells Riho, okay, do this, do that. You could tell she was leading this match, and that's why it, like you said, it was one of the best matches on here. And I like the ending. It went long for a buy-in pre-show match compared to what we're used to seeing on WWE. But I think it really got the crowd into it because a lot of people like Riho and a lot of people like Serena Deeb because they know, hey, she's a veteran. She's finally, she's really legit. She's finally be presented in a legit manner. So, they're going to cheer for both these women. So it really got the crowd excited before the main show. And I just love the ending, Riho kept fighting back and everything. And you thought, oh, is she going to win? Is it going to be an upset? But then Serena, she catches her and takes that injured leg in the knee.
And remember, Paul, she kept doing stamping also, stamping, but, hitting that knee.
Yeah, she took the knee really and was just hard. Slamming it into the mat, over and over and over. Then she got the Serenity lock and Riho eventually tapped out. So this was a great match. We figured Serena was going to win. They weren't going to pull no shenanigans because Riho is going to be on AEW. She's not going to be wrestling for NWA or anything like that. So, but this
not that they want her to do that, right?
Exactly.
Not that they want her to do that because Riho, remember, she started out as the inaugural AEW Women's Champion, and that's why that division started on the wrong foot. But like you said, this match solidifies Serena Deeb, and like you said, I love the new attitude. I really love that, and you can tell how good of a trainer they lost in WWE with her.
Oh
because
yeah.
she's really, really great in the ring. She's, to me, as comparable as like how good as Natalia can be, So I really like
Oh,
this.
I would put
And
her up there with the Charlotte Flairs and Rhea Ripley's, Becky Lynch. I'd put her up there with all them right now. Like she's on top of her game, I think.
oh yeah, and Anthony says I can stay, but like I gotta hang out with you guys. Love your page. Thank you so very much. Thank you.
Hey, yeah,
Thank you,
thanks for
Anthony. We
stopping in, man.
appreciate it.
Take it easy.
Yeah, take it easy, man. Like watch the review when you when you can on the channel and everything. So like you said, like this is what was like the buy-in. It was a pretty good, buy-in for like what you say. So now let's go to the main match that opened up, Double or Nothing, and this was Adam Hanman Page going against Brian Cage. So the Page against the Cage, they had a match already on AEW Dynamite, and this turned out to be another great match. Like a good story. You can tell that these two guys have a lot of chemistry together, and they merged really well. The sequences that they gave us were pretty good. Physique against physique, because Cage is huge, but also Adam Hanman Page is no skinny man. So that was really good. What do you think?
Yeah, I really like this match. And like you say, there was no beatdown before the match. So it was an even playing field. And I like this. The crowd was the biggest thing for me in this entire pay-per-view. The crowd, like just getting into it, because a great crowd can make a crappy match even better.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So, and they can make a great match, fantastic. When the crowd's into it, you just feel that energy, whether you're there, whether you're watching at home. And, you felt it, especially in this match, because obviously the first match, kick off this pay-per-view, really behind Hangman Adam Page. Every time he was making his comeback, his big moves, everything, you hear the cowboy shit chants and everything like that. This was good. And you saw still
Terminator.
You saw with Brian Cage still in this match, because, of course, like we always say, Taz is on commentary. Of course he had to be. And, Brian Cage, when he was making his big comeback and, dominating and stuff, like the cocky covers, he wouldn't hook the leg, or he would just do like the lateral press. He wouldn't like do anything. And,
it was just flat every time that he tried.
And even Taz would be like, Cage, what the hell are you doing? And he's like, we talked about this. Why are you being bullshit? Like, you heard him on commentary. So he was even getting frustrated. So again, we don't know what's going on. Maybe Brian Cage will be leaving Team Taz soon, which I don't know if that's the right move, but I mean, I really don't know what this company does half the time, so I won't question it. But, this was still a good match. And I like, the ending, just kind of how, because you would think Brian Cage, he should be a guy who, as great as Hangman Page is, Hangman is my guy in AEW. Brian Cage, it maybe would have been good if he would have won here, but you saw the distraction, Hook came out, everything, Team Taz. And then
came out. Ricky Starks also came out. Yeah.
And then Hangman, he got like thrown over the ropes. He hung on, he got himself on the apron, which set up the buckshot lariat. Boom, 1, 2, 3. So he pins Brian Cage in the opening match. Great match. And like I said, with the distraction and the pin here, maybe this will be the end for Brian Cage and Team Taz. We have to wait and see.
Yeah. The one thing I want to mention also, Paul, see, remember, like Ricky Starks gave the title. The world title, he gave it to like Cage, and he's like, okay, bro, I'll use it. And then you see like Cage is like, what the hell are you doing? He didn't want to use it, and he gave it back. That's why we have that picture right there.
Right.
And also he tried for the backshot lariat. And then actually Page, because of this moment right here, he got distracted, so that set him up for like him. So Page will go the backshot lariat, 1, 2, 3. Like you said, Adam Hanman Page, and that was like pinning. Brian Cage, we gets a good win. Is this like a future #1 contendership spot? Maybe, but you see a lot of dissension in between Brian Cage, like you said, and Ricky Starks, and also with Team Taz. Is he gonna leave? It seems that way, because look at that picture. Like, he didn't want to hang out with these guys anymore. Ricky Starks also, he said, hey, the neck, man. You saw how he points it out at the neck. So, I mean, really great opening for like what it was, AEW Double or Nothing. But like you said, like Adam Hanman Page is like the guy that they're trying to push. We'll see what happens now, with Cage, because like this guy has a lot of potential. But again, is another case of Lars Archer. Like, they don't have a place for them. They don't really have a clear path for them, and that really sucks to be, Cage or Lars Archer, Paul.
Mm-hmm. No, I agree. It's, you this roster has way too many people on it. That's the real problem. It's, you can have all these guys, and you don't need to put gold on them to make them feel legit or anything, but you can't have so many guys on your roster, and because you won't be able to feature them in storylines, because somebody has to win, somebody has to lose, like we always say. And with so many guys, and you're trying to push so many, and it just doesn't work out.
Oh, no, it doesn't. It doesn't.
Yeah,
at all.
it would almost be better with how they start all these new shows, which we'll get into. They what's the new one? Rampage or
Rampage.
something like that?
Rampage.
Yeah, they have all
Rampage
these
round.
new shows. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Just do it where it's like, you have a Raw roster and a SmackDown roster. I know that would be like, oh, you're just clearly copying WWE, but I mean, you steal WWE's old retired talent, so you might as well do something like that to at least be like, hey, this is this brand, that's that brand. So at least you can push different people.
I agree with you, Paul. I agree, and it's important. We'll see what happens. But like the next match that will follow up on Double or Nothing was like the AEW World Tag Team Championship match. The Young Bucks defending against Jon Moxley and Eddie Kingston. And this was a lot better than what I expected. Actually the Young Bucks being healed, the flips, but it was a good, mix. It was a good contrast between, like the violent, hardcore, you will say an unorthodox style that like Moxley and also Eddie Kingston had. So I really like this. Maybe a little too long, like you said, but it was very climactic though, and that's something that I really like because some matches. Remember Karrion and Finn Balor are done. Never when it was climactic. So what did you think?
Yeah, I mean, the brawling on the outside and all this stuff, because we saw that in more than one match before the match even technically began. I don't like that. To me, that's stupid. Like I said, if they start brawling, just ring the bell. Who cares if it's on the outside of the ring? You ring the bell, then you start counting 1, 2, 3. If you get to 10, double count out, whatever, move on to the next match. But, I do agree with you. The Bucks, they kind of were, trying to really get themselves over as heels in this because everybody wanted to see Jon Moxley and Eddie Kingston win this. Everybody there, I'm sure, wanted to see them win. You got the Bucks, they're acting cocky and goofy, like doing just like weird, like crotch chops and the shakes and all, just trying to be like DX, all that stuff, like heels.
They did the shield too, so that was cool though. I like that one. That one.
Yeah, like you see, they're really trying to get underneath their skin and everything. And like you have here, they did like the Meltzer driver on the ramp. Moxley was busted open, for a lot of this match. He had really good color in this match. That was good. And I like, it just went a little too long for me though. There was a couple spots where it's like, okay, they can put him away here. No, a kick out. Oh, okay. Then more and more. I would say if you would have shaved like maybe 5-10 minutes off this match, it would have been good. And, I mean, maybe their goal was to just really try to get you in to be like, Moxley keeps kicking out, Kingston keeps kicking out, they keep breaking up the pins, they're gonna win it, especially like when you saw Moxley, they super kicked him, covered him, he kicked out at 1, and he had that big adrenaline rush, made his big comeback and everything.
That didn't sell the super kick, right? Yeah, at all.
Yeah, and then I think he even hit like the paradigm shift, right, and then he had him. But then they Matt Jackson, I think it was, broke up the pin and everything. So it's like you see, it's like, when are these guys gonna win it? Because everybody thought and was pulling for the baby faces here to win. But like we even said on our last Dynamite review, we're like, Kenny's the champ, he's not gonna lose. Do you think the Bucks are gonna want to lose? No, they're probably going to all want to be champs at the same time. So you saw 4 BTE triggers. They hit, I think, 4.
The B triggers. Yeah, they did the double like knee strike. 4 of them. You guys, the picture right there, and exactly. 1, 2, 3, and the Young Bucks retain. Which, like, actually, you said it in the AEW review that we did in the Dynamite before Double or Nothing. You said, hey, don't be surprised they actually win it. Because I was like, oh no, they're going to be a title switch fight here. He's like, no, don't be surprised they actually win it, which they did. So this solidifies the Young Bucks. I mean, they should drop it to a legit tag team because Kingston and Moxley were just put together just for this pay-per-view. I think after this they're going to split up one more time.
And then the only other thing to note is you saw the Good Brothers and stuff. I was that actually during the match that the Good Brothers came out, and then Kazarian. And then Kazarian jumped them because Kazarian's new storyline gimmick thing is he's the elite killer. Because it's their fault that him and Christopher Daniels had to break up, and no more SCU. So he jumped the Good Brothers, started taking them out. I mean, that would be a cool storyline to see something with him, but it's not like Scorpio's doing his own thing, and he could be like, "Hey, Scorpio, come on, man! Like, let's get back together. Let's take these guys out." Because he's obviously with Ethan Page, which we'll see later tonight. But that was really the only other thing.
Like with Ethan Page, he's just being jobbed to to a 62-year-old man. That's fine. But we don't know what you have to put over new talent, right? No, we gotta keep with the oldies. We actually were like kids when he was actually famous. No, he's still legit. That's fine. But like you said, like the Young Bucks retain, against Jon Moxley and also Eddie Kingston. Let's go to the third match, and that happened to be the Casino Battle Royale, Jean Paul, presented to you by Paul White. So a lot of good names here. Penta Cero Miedo. Of course, he gets jobbed out. I don't know what it is. They hate Penta. Christian Case was right there. Varsity Blondes. Also, like we had to see Power Hobbs. What is it? Powerhouse Hobbs. There you go. I cannot get his name right. Also, we got to see a Max Casper. From the Acclaim. We got to see a lot of them, and there was also going to be like the wild card, the Joker. That turns out to be the man of the hour. But what did you think overall about this?
I mean, not a fan of battle royals, to be honest. The only
especially
ones
here, no, they're not good for AEW.
No, and especially because at least the only ones I like is the Royal Rumble, because at least with them, you don't have to fill up the ring. With this, you fill up the ring with 4 or 5 guys, whatever it is. I think 4 guys to start the thing, and then after a while, 4 more come out, then 4 more come out, and because they don't know how to wrestle these kinds of matches, you see guys will roll out of the ring like Christian and Hobbs, 2 main guys who you should really want to, and Matt Sydal,
those were the first one. The first one,
I didn't even see
Max Casper. You said Christian Cage, Powerhouse Hobbs, and Sydal. I think they were the first 4.
Yeah, and I didn't even see when Sydal got eliminated or anything.
But he was the first one. Casper eliminated him. Yeah.
Oh well, there you go. Maybe I was just yeah.
I
mean, so it was, but to have guys roll on the outside and just lay there for 10 minutes before getting back. I hate that. Like, if you roll on the outside, there should be like a ref there that goes like, bro, you have 30 seconds or you're done. Like, you can't just lay on the outside during a battle royal and be like, oh, it's legit. Like, yeah, it's funny when a heel does that, like Miz hit under the ring. It's like, okay, haha, whatever. But to do that all the time is stupid. But no, I'm usually just not a fan of these battle royals. Nothing really of note took place here to me. Like
you will pop for that. The Joker.
Oh, I mean, it looked good, and how it would have looked even better if he was in like the final 3 or final 4.
He wins, right?
But no,
I mean, remember what you said, Paul. Like, he comes in and then 5 minutes.
Yeah, he does the thing to Jungle Boy where he pushes him, whatever. I think Jungle Boy actually eliminated him.
Yeah,
and then it's like, okay, whatever. And like you said, then it was finally for the Joker. And I was, I heard
about this Joker, the wild card.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. And then I was, for me, I don't know. I just like heard the Kurt Angle rumblings, and I thought maybe there was at least 2 times I thought we were maybe going to see him tonight. We didn't see him at all, but we saw Lio Rush, and he looked good. We were always a fan of Lio Rush in the ring. The guys, I mean, yeah, he's really small, but he's so quick, and his moves, they have so much impact and everything. He's almost like a little Sonic the Hedgehog, like he's just flying around and everything. So it's cool. It makes sense that he is able to do what he does and everything, and you kind of believe it. And he's with New Japan for a while, and obviously
MLW also, Paul.
Yeah, exactly. So it kind of has the relations there, because Tony Khan says, no, I did it first with New Japan. So he came over and he looked good in this. But the main kind of heels of this whole battle royal were Matt Hardy. It was him and Private Party. Yeah, so they were all working together, because he told Private Party, if you help me win, I won't take 30% of your checks. I'll only take 15. So they're like, yee. So they wanted to do that. So then, they helped. They helped
those stories, bro.
Yeah. Bullshit. But they helped eliminate Lio Rush, which again, I'm like, really, like Lio. So Lio Rush isn't gonna final 4. To me, if you make it to the final 4, at least people go, okay, you're legit. It's all good. No, he gets eliminated fairly quick. I don't even know if he was in there for 5 minutes. So it's
he wasn't even it was probably 3 minutes.
That's so it's really like that. That's
I don't know if he's gonna have a contract with like AEW, or maybe he's gonna stay on MLW. Like, he's been having some matches there. Like you said, he has a little bit of New Japan. He's everywhere. We'll see what happens, but this is the final 3 that we have.
Yeah, and then Matt Hardy, he got sent out pretty early, because at first he was like, "Oh, Christian, we're legit, member."
The old times.
Yeah, exactly. And Christian's like, okay, man, sure. And then throws him right over. And it's like, okay, screw you. So then we saw, the pretty much the past versus the present. We saw Christian, Jungle Boy. And this was good. They had a little bit of a match, really good, fighting on the apron and stuff. It was like, oh my God, Christian goes to hit I want to call it the Unprettier. He goes to hit that.
Yeah,
and it's like, no. Yes. And it's like, no, Jungle Boy gets out of it. Yeah. And then but just the ending, I still, even sleeping on it for almost 24 hours, don't know how I feel. Jungle Boy wins this thing, not Christian. And we say Christian should have been the one to win it, because he had to stare down with Omega. He held up the belt. He did all this stuff. And you think, okay, how's Christian going to become a number one contender? Well, boom, this would have been the perfect way to do it.
Yes, sir.
But you give it
to me made sense.
But you give it to Jungle Boy. So that, again, pretty much tells me that whenever Jungle Boy gets his chance, he's not going to win.
No. Here's what I'm going to add to you. Here's what I'm going to add. And that's why I don't need a picture. Well, let's put a picture so everybody just gets happy with the picture of the Jean Paul. He has him in toys. Yeah. Jean Paul, in 2 weeks, he's going to have the match with Omega. So what's the point? There should be we wait a month, 2 months, you wait 3 months, make him look like Money in the Bank. Because that's kind of how similar it is, right? It's just, you win a whole big thing. You win this crucial match, and then, you got to wait. You don't have to do it right after.
Yeah,
Omega's going to win.
That's the problem. What did we just, when we talked about earlier, when they did the tournament for Hikaru Shida, you do a whole tournament for a number one contender. You go weeks on end, you drag this out. She has the match and loses.
Yeah.
So what the hell was the point? And that's the same thing here.
Revolution.
They try to make stuff feel so special, build this up, and it would have felt special if it would have been like Christian and he's like, blah, 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 2 weeks. No, you do it at the next pay-per-view. Omega don't need to defend the belt until then, or if he does, he can defend it against losers on TV, and then Christian can go, I don't care who the champ is. I don't care if it's Omega. I don't care, whatever. At the next pay-per-view, I have my title shot, and that should be the same thing with Jungle Boy. It's like he won it. It should feel special. It shouldn't feel in 2 weeks on Dynamite. Okay, who really cares?
And that's the problem. How they book it, they don't make it look special. Like you say, they don't give it the time. Like you said, Jungle Boy should be either All Out or either Full Gear. I'm gonna catch my shot, and then from there you can build.
Exactly. The only thing I did at the end, Christian kind of got in his face, and Luchasaurus was like, "Oh, what's going on?" And he's like, "Screw you, you're bullshit." And he's like, "Jungle Boy,
go say hi to your mom."
He's like, "Jungle Boy." He's like, he's like, go out there. He's like, make the best of it. Kick Omega's ass. So they had that sign of respect there, and that's good. Like I said, everybody loves Jungle Boy. Everybody's like, this guy, he's so talented, he's so good, and all these veterans really want to help him. JR is constantly putting him over, not just on the show, but in interviews and stuff.
It's because he likes Beverly Hills 90210.
Yeah,
that's why he does it. He loves Kelly Kapowski, Tiffany Amber Thiessen. Who would? If you have 2 eyes and you actually have good vision, who wouldn't love that woman? All right, but let's move on to the next one, because we go from, like you said, pushing, push Jungle Boy legit. Let's go to burials, because that's what Cody Rhodes loves to do. I'm sorry, but I love the music, but the guy enjoys burying people. He should be called the Undertaker because he loves to bury people. Okay, match with Anthony Ogogo. I mean, the match was this one was not long, Paul. What do you think? Because I don't think it was that long. Ogogo, for having the boxing background, did pretty decent as a wrestler, and Cody, just like I said, loves to just bury people. What did we say? Can Ogogo can be made in this match? You give him the win. Hey, he can become a really believable heel. He can go maybe after other guys. No, Cody Rhodes' passion done.
Yeah, this match sucked, and Cody Rhodes. There was so much backlash for that promo that he cut, and then he comes out and says, "Oh, I have focus groups that help me write my promos," and people are like, "You write your own promos? Dusty did them off the top of his head. Why are you bullshit?" Blah blah blah, and he's like, "No, I mustn't know the meaning of focus groups then, because nobody helps me write my promos. I do it myself." And then it's
there you go.
So he had all this stuff, so all this backlash. So again, going into this match, that was already, people weren't that excited. They were less excited, less, hyped up for it. And it wasn't good. Anthony Ogogo, he's only had a couple matches under his belt. He didn't look bad, but he could have looked better. You could have really maybe dragged this out. This should have been the match with QT at this pay-per-view. Exactly. And then, later on you could do something, with the other guys if you want to, but I don't know. I really don't have much to say. Arn Anderson chased off QT and all this. It's just it's the same bullshit. This match could have been on Dynamite.
Yeah, then
there was nothing special about this.
We got to see a little bit of color from Ogogo. That was okay. But to me, the part that they didn't sell also is the punching background. He's a boxer, so that should have been your whole theme. Your focal point should have been just he can punch like nobody. Like the Big Show, like the KO punch. If he does that, then there's no way that you can win that match. No,
Yeah,
he actually did that twice.
Yeah, I mean, maybe a go-go always does gut punches. Maybe that was his thing for boxing, but there should have been something where like Cody went to go do a move and he ducked and he slugged Cody in the face and Cody fell into the ropes and he's just like kind of hanging there on the second rope and the ref's like, "Are you good? Can you get up?" And he starts counting and Cody crawls and grabs the ropes and pulls himself to his feet at like 9 and it's like, "Oh, okay." Now we're getting a little hyped up. No, okay, like you said, it was maybe one gut shot. And then a couple seconds later,
he
Cody's
did one
back up.
uppercut, one gut shot, and that's why, like, we got this picture right here because he was about to pin him because it was supposed to be done, and then he pins him, and then it's like that Cody like's arm was like under the rope. Yeah. So it's like, oh, so it's not, it's not legit, it's not legal, and then QT's like, oh my god, I forgot to teach this guy like the rules. So on top of looking like an idiot, this completely kills like the power of the punch.
Yeah, so I don't get and with a QT being a teacher, and not just because of this, with being under the ropes, but you see a lot of these guys who he supposedly trained. I don't think QT's a very good teacher. I'm just gonna say that right now. I don't think he's a very good teacher. But this, and then to get the end of this match because I don't care for it at all.
He finished him with his new move.
Yeah, he hit the vertebraker, which is I think he only did that because, he did the crossroad, the figure 4, then a go-go had the figure 4 or he twisted it over or whatever. And it's like, I need to do a new move. Let me do a move that's banned in WWE just to be like, haha, screw you, WWE. So, he hit the vertebraker and also probably so it made Cody look impressive because he picked up a bigger guy and did that move. Cody's always trying to put himself over. But when he hit that, I didn't think it was going to be over because I'm like, well, that's not his finisher. What the hell is this? But no, he hits it 1, 2, 3. Everybody celebrates. Cody has the first interracial baby born in the history of humanity because that's how he's trying to sell it. This is just bad.
Again, he kills like Antonio Gogo, and that's bad because what did we say? Put somebody over on pay-per-view. Has he done that? Answer is no. So like,
I think the only one is like MJF.
MJF, yeah, but MJF is just like obvious, like you had to do that. But again, Lance Archer done. Now
and they talked about that because wasn't that last Double or Nothing? He went against Cody.
It was Lance Archer because
Lance Archer has like he has like a Triple H luck like at WrestleMania. Double or Nothing.
It's done. Like 2-0, and when it comes to winning in matches, now that we're there's just like switch the page, turn the page for Cody. He's good at just burying people. I'm sorry, and you can tell that's why like you see like the lack of like continuity or like the lack of like synchrony between like Omega, the Young Bucks, and Cody. Like the storylines are like kind of like all like scared away. They're never like in sync. And it's because he does not like to put over people on pay-per-view. I mean, Omega, like I think he does a little bit of a better job. The Bucks, but like you just see that like he just has to put himself over all the time. And I don't like that. So now let's talk about just Miro and Lance Archer. This was actually not too bad. Maybe a little too long, like you said. But at least, this solidifies Miro. We said, like, he got the title a few weeks ago. There's no way he can possibly lose it unless you're playing hot potato with it. And Lance Archer, unfortunately, this guy, just go back to New Japan. We're good there, like, because here, like, there's nothing that you have done that, like, have made you believable besides, like, the way that you begun. Debuted on AEW. But other than that, no.
Yeah, it's the same thing what we said about Brian Cage here. It's you have too many guys like Miro, Brian Cage, and Lance Archer. You put them next to each other in like a police lineup, and you'd be like, well, it's almost the same guy with just different facial hair. Yeah. Because they're all big, they're all super jacked. So it's like how many roles can you have for guys like that? Not many. And, Miro is the only one who you're pushing right now as just this unstoppable monster.
Exactly.
So, and you have Lance Archer, especially turning Lance Archer babyface. That like took a lot of his momentum away from me. And, the match, I mean, it was really good though.
I like this move also, like, that's the Undertaker, but he actually does like a moonsault, so that was a really legit. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Lance Archer, he's super talented and everything, but I mean, this match, it was one of those things where, like we said, it's good, but it was booked too soon. To me, you really could have stretched this out. I don't know why Miro had to win the title and immediately go into a title program with Lance Archer.
Yeah.
Why Miro couldn't just get some wins, look dominant, and then maybe at the next pay-per-view, or, because NXT does super shows, every once in a while, oh, here's a really big episode, can't miss episode of NXT. You could do that for Dynamite. Oh, we're going to have Kenny Omega. He's defending against Jungle Boy, and you're going to have Miro against Lance Archer, and maybe one other match or something. And then, make it a big legit show. But instead they gave it to us here with 2-3 weeks of build. And, Miro was clearly going to win. And especially
you saw, we got the snake right there. Yeah. We got to see him.
I'm not going to lie. I popped. But probably one of the biggest pops of the night is when the snake had the bag and he couldn't get the bag open. So Miro took it and he launched that. Obviously, there was no snake in there.
Yeah,
I don't want to see PETA.
Well, like he did, like Snitsky would with the baby, like that.
But he just like, oh, he threw that bag, and even like commentary was like, oh my god, they're like, what's wrong with this guy? And it's like he launched that thing. I mean, it was good, but then I like how he set up. He had his back turned, and then he turned and he charged right into Lance Archer, who did that big choke slam and everything. And this was really good, but of course, Miro. Accolade, they don't call it that, but they don't call it that. But I love when he hits like the Machka kick, and then he gets the accolade on, and Lance Archer crawling towards the ropes, but you see Miro pulled him back, and he does his pretty much like cinches it in, like we could say, he falls backwards, really gets it locked in. And Lance Archer
more power, yeah,
exactly. And no, Lance Archer didn't tap, he was pretty much passed out, so Aubrey called it. Good match, but booked too soon.
And they bother me because don't you think, Paul, that he didn't have the whole locked in for a long time? It was a matter of like a minute, not even that, and done.
It was. I would say it was probably maybe 35, 40 seconds for by the time he locked it in, Lance crawled to the ropes, Miro pulled them back because Miro actually let it go to like relock it in.
Yeah.
Like, when he was crawling, then he had to re-grab it and pull him back and everything. And so I don't know. I mean, you could have done more with it. He could have been like, he fought out of it and then he barely got out and he's like kind of groggy and Miro hits a big move and pins him 1, 2, 3. You could always do something like that because we see nowadays. We see how many people. Yeah, how many people do we see do like submissions and the matches just go flat? Karrion Kross chokes people out. Roman Reigns chokes people out. Bobby Lashley chokes people out. Miro chokes people out. How it's like, can we see a more exciting finish?
No, I know, and also like the one thing is when you have the lock, like with the whole locked in, don't you think that like should hold like 1-2 minutes at least, because it's like, okay, you're wearing out the guy, you're wearing out. It's just like automatically like 2 seconds.
Well, I mean, I know wrestling is like, it's fantasy fighting, so to speak. But like, if you put a choke on somebody in real life, it only takes a matter of seconds to put them out.
I guess, because I remember the good old days of Kurt Angle, like having the ankle lock for a long time, and then he'll do it again, like things like that. But like you said, also like we don't have clear like finishers.
And the only thing I will say to that is like when you're doing a submission on an arm or a leg, it's different than when you do it on like the neck or the head.
Yeah, I guess you gotta be more protective. But like you said, he didn't tap out. He actually passed out. So what does that mean? They're gonna keep feuding. So unless hopefully Miro keeps retaining, because at least this is now his time. He's been portrayed pretty good now. At least he's given like the time of day that like he didn't have when he first started on AEW. So that's okay. Paul, next time that we will be on pay-per-view is gonna be in Chicago, Sunday, September 5th, or All Out. So we'll see what happens. I mean, that's the pay-per-view that started everything. Remember the first All Out when it wasn't even AEW, but that was the beginning of all of these things. So it's going to be interesting to see what the developments of that, who's going to be in it, maybe a possible debut, things like that. So, Paul, now let's talk about like the women's side of the things. We're going to go to Hikaru Shida and Dr. Britt Baker, DMD. The match quality, I was not happy with what I saw. A lot of botches, like both girls didn't seem like they were in sync. Like it was a bad day for both of them. It was just a bad day. They didn't see like the chemistry that I saw maybe in the first match. Remember when like she broke like Baker's nose and stuff like that. But despite that, at least we got the winner that we wanted, and the crowd helped out the finish of the match, at least for me.
Yeah, and the one thing I will say, because I mean, Baker to me is the number one woman in this company. She's the number one woman who I'm a fan of. Even though I do really like Shida, I like Baker more. But I felt bad for, Hikaru Shida, because it's, and Britt Baker, as well, but more so for Shida, because it's like, I know these two women could put on a great match. And this match, like you said, it wasn't bad, but a couple botches here and there, that does stick out. It is a pay-per-view, so there are more eyes. You're paying closer attention to it and everything. And of course, Rebel or Reba, whatever, she had to be out there. And, it's like, can we just have a clean, legit championship match, whatever. But the only thing is just, you give Sheeta this new belt, and then she loses it. So that kind of sucks. That's like you buy a kid a toy, and then no, it's actually for your brother. Haha, screw you. So it's like,
WWE fashion. Remember when they do these big celebrations a whole year, when you give you a lot of information, a lot of data. Oh, like Jean Paul has been the champion for like so and so year. It's just it's info for you to say he's going to lose that title.
Yeah,
so that's why they did.
I mean, I did like. I did like, just the intensity they showed, kicking out of all these big moves and everything, especially like, Baker kicking out of the Falcon Arrows, the knee strikes and everything. It was good. But again, the match, it goes down to it goes down to what I've been saying. And I'm not saying, people should stop doing submissions as finishers. But in the last match, we just saw like a submission. And then here it's like another submission and everything. And you saw, just again, Sheeta was like, fighting, and eventually tapped. And to me, what a champion tapping is bad. If anything, Lance Archer should have tapped, or something, or that should have been a pin. And then this match, Sheeta should have passed out. To then be like, oh, she lost the championship, but you know what? She never passed out. Maybe she'll get another title opportunity down the line. Because, hey, she was our champ for a year, whatever. To me, to just tap out is like, that was kind of a little bit like, But I mean, the whole
sequence was pretty interesting, though, because remember, like even Rebel misses Sheeta and she ends up hitting Baker with the crutch. So that was good. And then you see also Hikaru hit the Tamashi. So that was okay. And like you said, Baker ends up kicking out. So you saw a lot of, like you said, good stuff in it. Do I agree with you? Yes, because it's like, not everybody should in the match with a submission, but in this case, the only thing I can tell is I think Hikaru is going to be out of the title picture for a long time. She's been the champion for a year, so she's going to get a break. She's going to be like Io Shirai. I'm really seeing the same path. She's going to be, hey, I need to go to Japan, see my family, enjoy myself a little bit. Hey, get healed from the injuries that maybe she has, and then she'll come back. So I think that's why they did it to solidify Baker too.
Yeah, I have no problem with that. I mean, I wouldn't say get her off TV that we don't see her, because she is really popular and everything. Her action figures coming out soon. I got to plug the toys, and it's you don't want to have one of your stars be off TV, especially a star that people actually like, unlike Cody Rhodes, who's just forced down everybody's throat. But it is, I wouldn't mind if she does take a step back and you do, put some of the other women get Chris Statlander out of the Best Friends, little clubhouse, and put her, in some legit matches. Even Penelope Ford, she's okay. Where's legit Layla Hirsch? Get her in there. Get what the hell is
you have Serena Deeb also, Thunder Rosa.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, to me, that's the one though. You took it right from my mouth. Thunder Rosa is going to be the one to eventually dethrone Britt Baker.
Yes, yeah. But like you said, what's the submission called?
Lockjaw.
The lockjaw. There you go. Because to me, it's very similar to what the Gargano escaped without her putting the thing in your hand in the mouth. But there you go. She gets the win. Finally, she gets the title. And I mean, this was okay. A lot of people might hate, Tony Schiavone coming out.
The ending killed me. That is just, can you keep some semblance of kayfabe? What does Tony need? His 2 seconds of fame? Are they really that close? I mean, yeah, they're probably friends, but it's it's almost like her dad coming out.
Well, I think that's what it is. Do that back. What it is. He probably sees her like a daughter figure.
But do that backstage.
Yeah, because
I mean, come on. She's a heel.
He went out.
Yeah, but then later on, Schiavone is a clear babyface announcer. So it's don't. Yeah. So again, but this show, they don't care. They don't care.
Yeah, like you said, and like you said, this dude in backstage. I mean, and also he's probably a father figure because
that would be like what? So if let's say Carmella, if Corey Graves was still on SmackDown, Carmella wins the women's championship. Is he gonna stand up and go hug her? No, yeah. He's professional.
At least WWE knows how to stop that stuff.
Yeah,
you're right. This was not too legit. So now, but the fact that like Britt Baker is actually the
Yeah,
women's
but
champion is
the right choice though for the win.
exactly right choice, and we're all happy because DMD is actually the champ, so that's pretty good. So now let's go to the next one, Paul, because this one was also another burial. And once again, I gotta bring up. Remember what I always ask you when we watch Impact, when we do Impact shows. Joseph Alexander, he's so much better without Ethan Page, and it sucks because the North was one of like the best teams, if not the best team in 2020. And now to see where the one end up doing, and the other one is like X Division champion, you see who chose wisely here. It's not about the money. Sometimes it's not about all other things. It's just where you think you can grow. And I don't think Ethan Page made the right decision here, at least for me. This match, what do you think?
Yeah, and to touch on what you said about the North, I as I'm watching it, I watched the North. I was like, Josh Alexander's the legit one, and Ethan Page is just the mouth. He's just, I'm always talking, I'm always flapping my gums. But on Impact, and at least with Alexander, it was a little bit more grounded. On AEW, they opened the floodgates. They're like, you go full reign. You say and do whatever the hell you want. We don't care. So that, really hurts his character even more. And I mean, this match, it was all right. It was, Darby Allin is good, but, Scorpio.
Sting diving jump. How do you feel when Sting, 62-year-old man Sting, dove and he takes care of like two guys?
I mean, he's not dead, so I guess it's all right. But I don't know what's the point? Was that something? Did they tell him, hey, Sting, go do this? Was maybe Sting feeling it and he called it in the spur of the moment in the match? Hey, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna try. Maybe if I break my neck, I can sue Tony Khan for $1 billion or something. Who knows? But it was okay. I don't know. I wish I could get excited. I am a Sting fan, back from the early days Surfer Sting I liked, even, Crow Sting I really liked and stuff. But just since they brought him back, it's just, and I was even excited when he first debuted. That was a legit holy shit moment. But, ever since then, it hasn't felt legit. It feels less legit every time we see him. He looked all right here. You can't say he looked awful. We've seen other people look way worse, than Sting.
It's true. No, actually, he looked way better for, what we thought about. And you kind of see how WWE, maybe he could have done the match with The Undertaker. He could have done it easily. He didn't look bad. He can punch fine. He did the stinger splash.
Especially because that match with The Undertaker wouldn't have taken place yesterday. It would have taken place maybe 3, 4, 5 years ago. So he would have, so he would have been in even better shape and and been able to, maybe move a little bit better as well.
This spot was okay though, Paul. Ethan Page throwing like Darby Allin all the way in the crowd.
Oh yeah, because his family was right there. Yeah, so he threw him. Like they said, oh, what a family reunion and everything. But I mean, this was good. But the only problem is, to get in, I mean, good is maybe not the right word. This was all right, but to get into a match, you really can't know who's going to win. And was there a doubt in anybody's mind who was going to win this?
Oh yeah.
You were just waiting. You were waiting for what's he going to do? Is he going to do the scorpion, leg lock, or what, sharpshooter? Are they going to tap, or is he going to do the death drop and tag Darby Allin, and Darby does the coffin drop? What are they going to do? How are they going to do this? Because you just knew the baby faces were going to win.
Unfortunately, it's true, and it's the second time that Sting and Darby Allin bury somebody, because the first one was a Revolution when they did the same thing with Brian Cage and Ricky Starks. So now they do another 2 uppercomers because like you said, there's a lot of money in Scorpio Sky and Ethan Page for the future, but this is kind of a win that you needed to solidify yourself as a team. Easily, if you win after with these 2 guys, you can actually go and challenge the Bucks. Easily. They didn't do that. So now, like you said, Scorpion dead drop for the win. 1, 2, 3. And actually, he got the win. So not even Darby Allin didn't do anything. So the main guy was Sting. So, I mean, you're sending a message that the guy can still wrestle. So you're going to put the title on him? Or are we going to see Cody Rhodes against Sting down the line?
I mean, I would have rather seen, I don't mind this tag team, I guess. But you could really do so much with Darby. And like you said, Sting looked good in here. So, Sting can have some just matches on his own. He don't need to do tag matches, whatever. Just do a couple rest spots where he gets a rest hold, a chin lock, whatever, on somebody for a minute or 2 till he catches his breath. But, this is, I would have loved to see Cody Rhodes. To me, Cody needs to be heel. Then I won't hate Cody so much. We saw him and Sting had a little interaction when Sting debuted. You could have easily turned Cody heel. He could have went after Sting. Oh, you and my dad, blah, 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 whatever. Made up some storyline. And then, had a match.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd love to see it. And Sting versus Dustin would be cool too. You know, anybody who's going to be in there that's not going to be like, oh, Sting, let me super kick you in the face 30 times and, you know, whatever, break your neck again. No, it needs to be somebody who's legit.
Who can take care of him,
yeah,
make sure
exactly.
they can carry him, who can make sure that he's going to be safe. And the one thing, like you said, we're like really critical on the outcomes and why they won and all of that. But like you said, Ethan Page and Scorpio Sky, they took care of Sting. Why?
Oh,
Because
yeah.
he looked good. You know,
No, yeah. And also,
good. Everybody else is saying it. You know,
yeah.
he did look good.
And with those two, when you said about like, oh, you know, they got jobbed out, they lost or whatever. If they would have went against the Bucks, that'd be heel versus heel, and they'd also lose that match. And to me, the only one that I really feel bad for is Scorpio Sky. He won that Face of the Revolution. He lost that match. Again, another match that was special to be a number one contender. Right? Yep. And then he lost
on Dynamite the next day. So
and then he turns heel. And, you know, you thought, okay, this guy should do a heel run. He should do something legit. To me, I don't know what they're going to do. This team is shit. I would much rather see him and Kazarian be teaming up and taking down the Elite. You could do Kazarian and Scorpio Sky feuding with the Good Brothers. Maybe they win the Impact Tag Team. You know, even though they're not the champs, right? Isn't it still Finn?
No. Right now it's actually violent by design.
Oh yeah, there you go.
Yeah, because like they took care of a Juice and also Finley. They did that. Yeah, so like it's actually Rhino and the Doran. They're
okay.
Yeah, they're the ones that are the champs. So now let's go, Paul, to like the AEW World Heavyweight Championship match, and that's Kenny Omega against Pac and Orange Cassidy. This, according to you, way too long. To me, you know, like, yeah, there was a lot of spots that they could have been saved. And also, like, Omega didn't look that great this time. It's one of like the few matches that he actually did not look good for me. Actually, Cassidy looked way better than everybody else because the crowd was absolutely bananas for Cassidy. And Pac, you know, Pac is Pac. You know, if you love professional wrestling, you're a fan of Pac. But other than that, you know, there's no gimmick, there's no identity, there's no character, there's nothing that you can actually go and feel for the guy. So that's why I think that affects him. You know, because he's great. But unfortunately, there's not connection with the people. There's not, you know, hey, I want this guy to, you know, like win something. Am I wrong for saying that or no?
No, you're not wrong because I said, I don't know what the dark cloud over this guy's head that he can't break through that ceiling to be like, oh, this guy's going to be our champ. This guy's going to be, you know, the face of the brand, the face of the company. And, you know, why the people can't behind him. I feel like they don't get behind him. It's because of the type of fans that AEW has. Take that how you will, but I think that's the reason why they don't get behind a guy like Pac as they do a guy like Orange Cassidy. But I do agree. This match was really, to me, the two stars are the two people who looked the best in it were Pac and Cassidy. Omega was kind of, being a little bullshit, like, everything. And it's just because that's the role they painted Omega as. It's not like when he was, the best bout machine and he was babyface and he had those great matches with Pac and stuff early on and everything before he teamed up, with Hangman. But, now in this new heel role, he's not presented like that. He'll win, in those tag matches, he'll tag in at the very end, hit the big finisher and win. That's his new style. He's not going to be in there putting on, the greatest match ever. So, they really presented it heavy for Cassidy and Pac to look good. But the only thing, and WWE does this, everybody does the same thing with triple threats, is one guy takes a bump and he just either sits in the corner or rolls to the outside, and then the other two guys fight for a couple minutes. Oh, big move. Oh, cover 1, 2. Oh, here comes the third guy again. He breaks up the pin. He throws the one guy out of the ring, rinse and repeat the same formula. So that I don't like. But, I mean, it just went too long, especially when we knew, was there ever a moment in this where you thought, oh, my God, like, Omega's not going to win?
Oh, we want to say hi to Dylan Ketchup. Hey, what's up? He's saying hi to us. Hey, man, how you doing? And he also I know he loves professional wrestling. So thank you, man. Thank you for being with us. And what did you think about Dynamite or Double or Nothing in so regards? But like you said, Paul, Orange Cassidy looked really good. The punches that he does, all of that, Pac, trying to do the Black Arrow, that was okay. But in the moment, Omega didn't hit the one-wing angel. So, I don't know. Cassidy, I thought for a moment that he was going to win it. They had me believing that in a lot of sequences, he was actually going to win the championship for how good he did. And you see at some point they're going to give the title to him. I am not, not sure when, but at some point, because the energy from the crowd and Cassidy, they feed out from each other. You see how much chemistry these guys have. like meaning like the crowd and Cassidy. So we'll see what happens, but like, did you think the ending, the crucifix, that's the only thing that happened? So
yeah, it was really weird because it was just like, what, Cassidy had Pac pinned or something, or how was the because it was something he just grabbed Cassidy and it was just like 1, 2, 3. I almost thought Cassidy pinned him. Like as I'm watching it, like I knew because they're just like, oh, the champ retains, and they, I hear the battle cry. Like they like played the music like immediately. So I knew it was Omega, but just the way he did the crucifix and the way it like looked, it was really weird. I'm like, what is even going on? I think they were just like, man, this is going on too long. We got to like send this thing home, just crucifix, get it over. I don't know. I mean,
it seemed like at some spots were like really long, like you said, but like Dylan says, Double or Nothing, one of the best pay-per-view events. So, like, tell us, what did you think about this match? What did you like about this triple threat? What do you like Orange Cassidy? Do you like Omega? Do you like Pac? But like you said, in the end, the crucifix, Omega looked really, dozed up. Like he was like completely dizzy. The Bucks came out. Of course, also Don Callis saved the title. Remember when he did like the punch, he already had him, and then he pulled out the referee. So, heel tactics, they protect the champion. Did we think that Omega was going to lose that championship? No. The one guy that I know that like will take it from Omega, you said it the best, Adam Hangman Page. That's the guy that they're like warming up for, because that's the only guy that is ready to go against all these guys. But like you said, in the end, good win for the champion. Like he can say he beat like two of the best wrestlers, or the most populars and the best wrestler in Pac. So, I mean, this way a little too long, and yeah, I mean, I just like feel that like the pay-per-view sometimes can go a little longer. Like they should like cut a little bit, don't you think? Like 3.5 hours should be better, right?
Rather than 4.5. Exactly. It's just too long. It's too much to take in, and I mean, just to like try to absorb it all, it's too much. And you could have taken some of these matches, like we said, the Cody and Anthony Ogogo, Lance Archer and Miro. While I did enjoy Lance Archer and Miro, you could have, those could have just been later, or you could have just did them on Dynamite or something. But I mean, yeah, but by this point, I think a lot of people already started to feel pretty exhausted watching.
It's, because like you say, it's a lot of it, and not every single feud is bad. It's like a lot of great things. And Dylan also says that he loves all three of them, but yeah, they're saving the title for Adam Hangman Page coming out all out. Why? Because he's the best guy they have.
Yeah, and what was another thing we said too. A match ends. Now, of course, the buy-in is when they show a lot of these video package, but a match ends. They get the people out of the ring. Boom. They start the next match. You don't even have time. Oh, can I stand up? Can I go to the bathroom? Can I do whatever? Yeah, it was like one after another.
Yeah, the timing. Because and I know you want to give you the best show ever. I know you try and everything, but I guess, when it comes to WWE, they're more exact when it comes to timing. They're like, okay, man, we got to go. Hey, take it home. But like that's what they gave us, and like you said, and in the end, Kenny Omega retains the title. Did we think? Also, he's going to be fighting Moose in like 2 weeks, so that's exciting. He's going to be defending the Impact Championship against Moose. So we'll see what happens against All Odds. Robert will have that one. So Paul, now is going finally to the main event. The Stadium Stampede 2. This, for me, I will just say it, is just pretty gimmicky. So this is not really professional wrestling. So this is just more like a brawl, like a rivalry. Does it feel great? I like the first one better because I didn't know what I was going to receive. And that one actually was not, I think, as gimmicky as this one. Meaning, when I say gimmicky, you got to see segment by segment. You didn't see all the guys together at the same time. You got to see just pairs. You got to see Jericho with MJF. You got to see Hager with Wardlow. You got to see like, the Cash and Wilder. You got to see them against Santana and Ortiz. And you got to see Sammy Guevara against the chairman, Sean Spears. Do I like that? Not too much. I just much rather see all the guys together because, again, it makes me think, one, is already pre-taped, and two, I just like I'm seeing a movie rather than a match, right?
Yeah, I mean, there's aspects of both of them that I liked more than the other ones, if that makes any sense. There's certain things I liked about the first one more, certain things I liked about this one more. I liked in the first one where they all just kind of like charged at each other, and it was like, like you said, a big brawl, and they all started fighting, and then eventually they all kind of split off. But this, it was like, you see Jericho and them, they're all like, climbing down the scoreboard, trying to be like, oh, we're badass and everything. And then eventually when they split up, it was, and it was weird because there was a ring there and you saw Guevara and Sean Spears were wrestling in the ring. And I'm like, oh, maybe they're all going to be like, mostly have a wrestling match. And I'll actually really like this and get into it. But no, that didn't last very long. because then, like you said, they split off into their counterparts and they were all fighting throughout the thing. The Jericho and the MJF was, I mean, that was just, Jericho it was just like, oh, let me get some comedy in, let me just really bury MJF, because that's really what I saw, that he just kind of buried MJF, made him look like a clown, like a fool. The one thing I did laugh, though, is when MJF took off running and you see Jericho like waddling behind him trying to keep up, because Jericho's he's like done, but
yeah.
I mean that was so that
like that.
Yeah, so that was and the big bar fight with like Santana and Ortiz.
Well, tell me a little bit about this though, like Sammy Guevara with Spears and like have like hanging, like.
I mean that, like I said, I didn't actually mind like their interaction, their whole like interactions. I thought was some of the best parts of the whole thing, because he had the wire cutters and everything. He was going to hit him with them. He threw the wire cutters down. Eventually, Guevara, he climbs up to the top. He goes to jump on Spears. Spears throws a ladder in his face, takes him out. He handcuffs him there to the thing, to like the big, like a whatever, like the big rack or shelf, whatever. And then eventually Guevara, he sees that the box or the chain cutters, whatever. And he goes, okay, I'm going to get, so we see how he's going to get out of this.
We got to see that one too. Like a Hager against Wardlow. This is, like you said, counterparts. It's just more of the same. I don't know if I would like this. Like you said, let's go to the bar fight. You wanted to talk about that? We had to see Juice, man. Because right there with Conan was right there. They had
exactly. And I didn't like how they came in. And to me, you just saw people in this bar. Obviously, it's in the stadium. There should have been no people in there. That, to me, I was like, really? And especially when they just started beating up random people in this club. And then there's a couple times you see guys at tables, guys at bars, and they're just drinking as people are getting punched and beat up, and they're just no selling it. Like, yeah, whatever. Oh, yeah, do you see Tim over there? He's got his head punched in. Oh, okay. Like, one guy should have got punched, and they should have been like, oh, my God, and everybody should have ran out of there.
They make it look at least like it's legit, like it's something.
But to me, they like I said, they just love making it comedy, making it funny, and then eventually, oh, let's all sit down, and we do the drinks, and then, we whatever. It should have just been a brawl. Should have just been a fight.
That's what I mean.
And I mean, I
don't know. I don't know if I like that. Also, like Paul, like remember we saw the Jaguars coaches. Like we got to see like the NFL, like the coaches. I think like Jericho, like is like stomping into them, or like they were right there. We saw all of that, and Jericho eventually went to the crowd. See, this was live. So this part, Sammy with like the gold card taking out Shawn Spears, Jericho doing this. Then
the only thing I thought was like bullshit was like, who was that, like motorcycle club, the motorcycle gang or whatever?
That was Sammy Guevara too, like with all of them.
When they chase Shawn Spears and they're like, oh, here's the so and so gang, and it's like 4 people, like, oh, that's a real tough looking gang, 4 dudes on motorcycles. But yeah, I mean that, like when he fought MJF and he beat MJF up in the crowd and everything, of course, he got the big pop. And I actually thought that was going to be the end. I thought they were going to fight to the ring. He was going to pin MJF, whatever. I really didn't think the match was going to end the way it did, where you saw Guevara and Shawn Spears in the ring. And, they had a little bit, kind of what we saw in the beginning with them going at it in the ring. And then, Sammy Guevara, he gets the pin. And, that's the one thing I really did like, is the guy who got the win here. It wasn't MJF getting pinned. Like we said it before, Shawn Spears is the weakest member of the Pinnacle. I wouldn't even be surprised if they kick him out, because they're like, screw you. You cost us the thing. You're a loser. Get out of here. But Guevara winning really, to me, solidifies this guy as like, hey.
And the next baby face.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
He's the next big star.
Right. Now, good stuff, like right there. Like you said, this guy, you see who's going to get the push the next for the remainder of the year. It's going to be Sammy Guevara. He looks great. He's always been skillful. We never doubted the guy. We always said, hey, he's like just Jericho lackey. Hey, he'll lose on the tag and all of that. But now they're finally believing that he can get a shot. So there you go. Like you said, he got the 1, 2, 3. And then you see the inner circle is still together. They were not broken, and they're not broken up. They're not breaking up anytime soon. They all hug. They love each other. Do I think this one was better than the first one? No, I still with the first one was a lot better, because like you said, it started out more like a brawl, and this turned out to be just like segments. I don't like that at all. But in the end, the inner circle, like still, hey, they gave the finger. They're still celebrating. And before we go off the air, Paul, Mark Henry is going to be the announcer of AEW Rampage. So like you said, they got the big show. They have Mark Henry. The next one they will get is Kane. They have to have.
That one, I don't know if that happens.
No, the Kane is never going to go.
Yeah, but it's funny. I saw a thing. that it's like Randy Orton, he's sending all the, he's sending everybody to the retirement home in Jacksonville. He beats up Matt Hardy leaves, beats up Christian leaves, Big Show. He makes fun of Mark Henry leaves. So all this, that Mark Henry one really surprised me because to me, he seemed like a WWE guy. So that, surprised me. But like, people said, and, a lot of people said it, that Vince probably tells these guys, hey, if Tony Khan is going to give you a shit ton of money for 5 years, whatever the contract is, go make that money. And then, come back to me when that, when
you
it's
feel
over.
when everything's good, when you're already rich and you just want to like show off for like, when they do the Legends Night or whatever, then it's fine. And, they need, I don't know what.
But the only thing I will say though, Mark Henry less than the Big Show, but and even Mark Henry said, oh, I'm kind of getting in shape. Maybe I want to have another match or two, a little run. That's what these guys need to do. I'm not saying, oh, put a title on them or make them the main event program. No. But you can have them wrestle because they're big names. If you advertise Mark Henry, the world's strongest man, or Paul White, obviously you can't call him the Big Show or the Giant or anything like that, but people will know who he is if they see his face. That's a way how you get old fans to get back into it. Oh, okay. And it's like, oh, do you want to hear Mark Henry? Yeah, I want to see him. Oh, well, he's the announcer. Does he wrestle? Yeah. No, he doesn't wrestle. He's just an announcer.
I know, but like,
then what the hell do I care?
But, like you said, all of them are going to end up wrestling. Christian did like from the get-go, and then the Big Show already said it's the first time in my career that everything is lined up for me to wrestle. He's like, I'm in good shape. I'm in good health. Everything's good. I'm ready to come back to the ring.
But to me, I don't care about any of those two signings, Big Show or Mark Henry, until they wrestle.
Oh, yeah. Like, especially because like they were never on commentary enough to believe that like they were good on commentary. Just because you were in the ring, that doesn't mean that you're a good commentator.
No.
As Macho Man Randy Savage. I love Randy, but it was complete crap.
Yeah, I like Randy on commentary a little bit.
It's like, no, it's like Randy, just, promo, elbow, and that. Let's go there. But like, Mark Henry is going to be on Rampage. They have the Big Show on Elevation. They always have a big name. So what good Lord knows who's going to get for like another show that AEW does. That was going to be Kane. Or Mick Foley. Mick Foley, like, I'm telling you, all elite. At the same time. But family, this is the, overall review of what it was Double or Nothing. We went an hour. We hope you guys have fun. Thank you for everybody that's coming in. Dylan, to also Blackwood Jr., everybody, that like support us. Thank you so very much one more time. Don't forget for the new ones, subscribe, hit the bell for notifications. Also, give the video a like so it gets pushed to the moon. Where else can I find us, Paul?
Yes, and then make sure you guys follow us, Rope Break on Facebook, the OG Rope Break on Twitter, and the original Rope Break on Instagram.
So, family, Paul will be right there for you for like 3 insufferable hours of Monday Night Raw. So give this guy, like hugs, support, kudos, because he's going to be right there for you guys. And with me, we'll be together for NXT, another great show. This is a little better than, this. And Dynamite, don't forget, next time is going to be also on a Friday because of the NBA playoffs. So we will be reviewing that on a Saturday because we do SmackDown Live for you guys. So family, thank you so very much. Have a great rest of your Memorial Day. And you and me have one more thing that is left to say, and that is...